Welcome to We Have a Plant for That. And there is the camera. It's a podcast about people who are making a difference for nature right here where they live. And whether that's in their backyard, in a neighborhood space, or even containers on a balcony. So today we are sitting down with Abraham Stone, a botanist with the Michigan Natural Features Inventory, MNFI, who studies one of the most ecologically unique places in our region, Isle Royale National Park. Abraham is going to talk us through the wild botanical history of Michigan's only national park. I did not know that. And you also spoke about it at this WAM Native Plant Conference. So you're one of our speakers, so thank you. You're also going to tell us a little bit about MNIF. So what do you want to start with? Telling us about Isle Royale, or do you want to start with MNIF?
Sure, I'll start talking about MNFI.
Sorry. How about that?
There's so many acronyms in
Yes,
the world.
there are. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I work for an organization called Michigan Natural Features Inventory. And it's the organization in the state that holds the database where we keep track of all of the rare plants, animals, and ecosystems. So we document them, we keep track of their populations. We're the people that people go to if they are curious about rare plants in their area, if they need to know them for projects. We partner with state and federal and conservation groups all over to conduct research projects and inventory projects for them. And our team is made up of a whole bunch of people, ecologists who specialize in natural systems, and zoologists who might be a lepidopterist or a herpetologist. And then my position is on the botany team. I work mostly in UP Upper Peninsula and Northern Lower Peninsula systems. So the northern stuff, north of the climate tension zone, as we call it.
Oh, is that what you call it? Is this through the state of Michigan?
It is not. It's technically through Michigan State University Extension.
Okay.
But we partner a lot with the DNR.
Okay.
So we're considered a contractor organization working with the state.
It's an excellent service because this information could easily get lost.
Yeah.
You know, as land gets developed and things change. So, well, thank you. And thank you for the work you do.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. What makes Isle Royale plant life so unique?
There are so many reasons. And Isle Royale is just a really special place. It is the largest island in Lake Superior. It's one of the largest lake islands in the world, surrounded by fresh water. Everything about the island, you can feel Lake Superior within always less than 5 miles from where you are.
How large is it?
It's over 200 square miles in area. It's 45 miles long, 9 miles wide at its widest. So it's a long, thin island, but it's really big. And with that, there comes a great diversity of landscapes and ecosystems that fall on top of the island. And there's something special in every corner. Depending on where you are in the lake, you're going to experience different wind movements. You're going to have different climates. Up at the top of the Greenstone Ridge, which is 800 feet above Lake Superior, you might have a day where it gets to 85, 90 degrees, and then you get down to the water, and it's going to be 55 on the same day. And so at any point, you could walk a mile and feel completely different. It's that kind of landscape.
It's fairly pristine, isn't it? It has not ever been developed. I think you are one of the first ones to reintroduce the gray wolf, or not? What about the wolf population? Could you talk about that a little?
Sure. Isle Royale has not been developed in the same way that so much else of our landscape has, but it does have a history of people going back thousands and thousands of years. So we have evidence that there were indigenous peoples mining copper on Isle Royale over 6,000 years ago, at least 6,000 years ago. And it's been used for thousands of years as a hunting and fishing and gathering place. And then in more recent times, it's been used for mining, for copper mining, more industrially. And parts of it were clear-cut at one point and harvested for timber management. We consider it pristine because there's been such little physical buildings occurred on the island, and a lot of the systems have been allowed to mature on their own following these disturbance factors. So in that way, it's quite a natural landscape. But it does have a history of people with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was a misconception there. So is it part of what you do with MNFI? Is it part of your footprint or area that you oversee?
Technically, yes, it is. Within the state, it is.
Okay.
We often, because Isle Royale is a national park and they have their own botanists, zoologists,
yes.
they often operate within their own work. But recently, we've been doing more work with the National Park Service. Just this past year, and the year before, we had some ecologists come out and do natural community surveys in some areas of Isle Royale. And it's the first time that we've had really good documentation of some of these natural systems, which are unique to the state of Michigan. So it is within the scope of our work. We're just now starting to partner more with it, and we're really excited about that because we all love the idea of going to Isle Royale. All of my own experience comes from my pre-MNFI days, where I was a research assistant up at Michigan Tech University and did work looking at invasive species on bedrock glades up there. That's how I spent a lot of time out there.
Oh, okay. So I just love to talk about the big apex predators. Are there bears and tigers and wolves?
Wolves are the big one. Wolves are the big one. And going back to the wolves came onto the island sometime in the middle of the 20th century. So I don't remember the exact date, but they migrated over here on an ice bridge. So before that,
so they did it on their own.
They did do it on their own.
Okay.
Yes, and so there were moose on the island, and it created this interesting dynamic that was then researched very heavily in the Wolf Moose Project, seeing how population differences between snowshoe hares and moose and wolves all came like into balance and had these periods of low population and then boosts of population following these patterns of predation and herbivory, et cetera, et cetera. So wolves are the big one. Wolves are the ones everyone knows.
So does that end up having a smaller gene pool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big time. Because they only have themselves. There was, I think, one instance of a wolf coming across after the initial pack moved in. I'm no zoologist. My expertise doesn't lie in that, but I'm pretty sure that it was very limited and probably still is affecting the current wolf population that's out there and been reintroduced.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. What are there species on Isle Royale that people might think they might be surprised to learn about?
Oh, yeah. Isle Royale is kind of a mystery. You never really know what you're going to see until you go out there.
Yeah.
And so something I know that surprised a lot of people, especially plant enthusiasts, is just the number of these beautiful flowering species that occur at any time of, especially the orchids. Isle Royale is one of our last orchid strongholds in the state.
Somebody was telling, Carolyn Miller said that she loved Michigan native orchids and they're becoming endangered.
They are. Orchids are disappearing across a lot of the state because of intense forestry practices, invasive species, water quality issues, all types of habitat destruction. There's a lot that's going into it. Isle Royale, because it hasn't seen a lot of that, it has retained a healthy orchid population, and so people go out there and they can see stuff that is relatively rare on the mainland, and you can see it across the trail. And because you're on an isolated, a threat of poaching is something that is much harder to do.
Harder to do. That's good. It's protected.
Yes. It is.
So how has geology and climate shaped the plant communities there?
Yeah.
Is that a relevant question?
Absolutely a relevant question.
Okay.
Yeah, so the climate, as I mentioned, it's really influenced by Lake Superior. And because of that, we get these very moderated temperatures are similar to the lake around it in the air on the lake. And it tends to be a lot cooler. You don't get these temperature high extremes. And because of that, the flora of Isle Royale tends to reflect more boreal types of plant distributions and plant communities. Most of the northern part of the island is going to be balsam fir and black spruce and paper birch and stuff that you tend to see as you move farther north.
Okay.
And that's all assisted by the moderation of temperature. The other part, the geology. The geology is very important. Almost all the rock is made of this volcanic bedrock called basalt. And these basalts were formed over 1 billion years ago. They formed many and many of these layers when they were up blooming on the surface of the
Yeah.
planet. Some of the biggest lava flows in the world.
Okay.
Greenstone Ridge on Isle Royale is almost 300 feet thick.
Oh my.
It's one lava flow. It's thought to be right now the oldest known, or the thickest lava flow that has appeared on the face of the earth at
my
one
God.
time.
Wow.
Imagine a 300-foot
Yeah, that's a
pool of lava.
Unbelievable.
Where Isle Royale is now. Like that, it's that rock. And so we get a lot of these layers of basalt, and over the past 1.4 million years, they've been bent a little bit. So these layers are now poking out on their side, which means we get this interesting like layered pattern where we have these slow, gentle ridges that follow the flat layer that's been tilted up, and then you get a cliff where the edge of that layer has been carved out by glaciers.
Wow.
And then you get another gentle layer and then a steep cliff, another gentle layer, steep cliff. You can see this on imagery. You can see these long parallel lines where the tops of these ridges fall to their cliffs. And that geology is what structures a lot of the plant communities.
Okay.
We see these parallel formations, parallel forests, wetlands. You can see the tilt of this bedrock on the lakeshore. That's what structures our plant communities.
Oh, that's interesting. What was a most important takeaway you hope people to get from your talk that you did today?
That there's something really special about Isle Royale. I am a proponent for Isle Royale conservation information, all that stuff, to preserve it and recognize it for all the beauty that it is. But it's like that because we have this large piece of land that we haven't decided to alter in our current day. We're doing what we can to manage invasive species, but we're not trying to go out there and manicure a place. We're kind of letting it be and let it occur on its own. And that is incredibly valuable. Having large spaces of conservation land like that is going to be important for generations beyond where we're at now. Because for a lot of those species, you need to have a broad, they need space in order to produce new populations and migrate within animals, plants, lichens, mosses, all of that. They need space in order to live. And when you lose that space, you lose the natural bigness in all the aspects of the community. So we still see that on Isle Royale, and so I think it's a good reminder to look at the diversity that we see there. It's there because we have this big space where it is allowed to flourish.
I didn't realize how big a space it was.
Yeah.
But my husband had spoken about Isle Royale quite a bit, and he always talks about the wolves there.
Yeah.
What do you wish more people understood about this issue? Is it part of what you just said? But it's also a benchmark too for
I think so.
like to understand what amount of land you need, not just little cut up pieces of little parks. You need some large area connected and undisturbed and letting nature take care of it.
Exactly. We call it Michigan Natural Heritage. We call it a landscape context, looking at the way that any specific piece of land, however you delineate it, how that fits into the puzzle. And if it fits into the puzzle seamlessly, has connections with a bunch of other systems, naturally, that has a good or excellent landscape context.
Yes,
and we see
no,
that
yeah.
on Isle Royale. And I think that's an important takeaway. Isle Royale, as things change a lot, and see plant communities get altered based on climate and people's and land use, et cetera, we're probably going to see some things disappear. We need to retain as much as we can.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're not going to know what we lose.
That's for sure. What I've seen with Europe is they're now trying to rewild, going back to wilding. In the UK, it's a movement now called wilding or rewilding.
That's wonderful.
Yes, I went to Knapp Castle in August, and they are rewilded 3,500 acres of a castle area.
Wonderful.
Based on herbivores. They couldn't get the apex predators in, but they got as many herbivores as they could.
You start from the bottom, and other stuff will follow.
Yes, and then they reintroduced beavers.
That's
as well,
wonderful. Cool.
After 300 years, and then storks as well.
That's fabulous.
Amazing what they were able to do. They weren't able to farm it because it was all clay, so now it's ecotourism, and they have created a revenue stream
That's
to
great.
keep it viable and thriving. Thank you, though, for everything you do, and we'd like to see people your age as excited because we need you to help us continue to spread the word about preserving our natural spaces and the larger picture of how it will, in the end, help us all survive.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I really love what I do, and I see how happy it makes so many people, even if subconsciously, seeing
Yes.
the way that they connect with the landscape around them, the animals, the plants, etc., etc. Everyone has something that they connect with, and so seeing that is just, it's the best thing. It feels like it keeps them going.
I mean, and it's the education. I think there's such a lack of education of people
Yeah.
not being able to reconnect with nature.
Yeah.
And they don't know how easy it is in their own backyards.
Yes.
So having said that, is there any plant for that? Is there a favorite native plant
Oh gosh,
that you have?
I have so many favorite native plants.
That's what I always hear. It's hard to pick one,
It's so
huh?
hard to pick. One of my favorites, and I think it is found in gardens, is Harebell or Campanula rotundifolia. That's one of my favorites. I think there are cultivars out there. It's got these beautiful blue, purplish shells that people grow, and that's native to Michigan, that in our prairies and in our barrens and in our bedrock areas, lake shores and glades, et cetera, et cetera. I love that plant. It's so
Good.
pretty.
I mean, they are beautiful. These native
Yeah.
plants are wildflowers that are beautiful, and too bad they have all these different types of names like swamp milkweed and sneezeweed.
Oh, I
names.
love sneeze.
And it's
That's
got
a gorgeous one.
Yes, it is.
All the milkweeds,
We
too.
prefer to call it Helen's flower, and it is actually another common name.
That's a more complimentary
Google,
name.
yes,
I like that.
yeah, and it's so much easier to sell.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for speaking at WHAM, and thank you for speaking to me. We have a plan for that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Having a wonderful time.
Well, good.
Oh, awesome. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see
Yeah.
the final product.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.